What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the SB Fantasy Football Podcast, where we try hard. I'm Alan.
I'm RD. What's up, buddy?
We're here to talk some fantasy football, and you
Love
brought
that.
this subject up to me, and I was more than happy to talk about it because we're talking Detroit Lions.
Mhm.
Hardcore Lions fan, born and raised in Detroit, and you posed the question to me: Can the Detroit Lions win you a fantasy football championship?
Mhm. Yep.
And which way do you want to go with this? Because here's my answer up front is no,
Okay.
they can't.
So here's what we're looking at. This is something we're gonna have like a series of these that come out. It's teams that have studs in essentially all skill positions, right? You have a good quarterback, good running back, good receiver, and even in this case, a tight end number one, right? He's TE1 this year projected.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Let's start with the Lions, break the seal, and just look at one where they're being drafted, two, like their rankings and whatnot, and then what they did last year, kind of predict what they're going to do this year. And if you have one or two of these players, I mean, in some cases, there's a chance you could get three of these dudes because let's be honest, Gibbs and St. Brown, they're kind of close, but if you kind of get them around the horn and you're drafting with people who don't like this team, you might be able to get two of them, and then you can get Jared Goff at the end. So, um,
Right.
but yeah,
And here's why I'm thinking you're not going to win your championship with these guys,
okay,
because these guys are going to be these are your play every week without a doubt, guys. These are a St. Brown. You're probably going to be drafting him in like the first round. Jahmyr Gibbs possibly first round. These are guys that they've got that first round talent, first round, second round.
mhm,
You're not winning your championship with guys that you're drafting in your first and your second round. Those are your slam dunk guys. Those are your guys that are going to carry your team, right? You're going to win your championship in the later rounds, in free agency, in the guys that you're going to pick up later on down the road that nobody's expecting. The guys that you're taking your flyer on that you're like, you know what? This guy might have it, right? Jahmyr Gibbs is a guy who could have won you your championship last year, or Sam La Porta, because no one was really, while Jahmyr Gibbs was kind of drafted high, a lot of people gave up on him, right?
mhm.
And traded him away, dropped him, got rid of him because Detroit wasn't really utilizing him, but they were easing him into the system.
Yeah,
And
he was
now,
splitting way too much time
right,
with Montgomery.
with David Montgomery. Now, I do believe David Montgomery is going to go lower this year
Of course, yeah.
and can still put up is still going to put up some really good numbers. Jameson Williams is a guy that I feel like is going to go later, and everything you're hearing out of camp and everything from Detroit is they have high expectations for him this year. Expect him to hit the ground running. The first year, recovering from the ACL, right? Didn't come back until the end of the year. Last year, missing the first, I think it was four, ended up being 4 games. Um, with the suspension for betting. This year, he's going to hit the ground running. No suspension, hopefully no injury, anything like that. This is a guy that you can get later who is definitely a feel will definitely help you. So
Possibly.
that's
Um,
that's how I answer that question is will they win you your championship? No, but they'll be key pieces in your team. You just got to find those other guys to win.
yeah, funny enough, when you mentioned Montgomery actually won me a league, what was it, 2 years ago or whatever it was, maybe 3 years ago, and I was real high on him, just like I was high on DJ Moore this past year,
Right.
and they came through, right? And he wasn't, like, being drafted. I got him at decent value too. I was like, "Alright, oh, I'm ready to pull the trigger." I did have to go, I think, around early on him, but that's what you have to do when you gotta go get your guys. But,
Right.
let's start with Jared Goff. He's currently ranked, in PPR formats, 93, standard 95 overall, QB 14. I think this is where you can get some value because he finished 7th last year, right? He scored
Yeah.
289 points for you, just a handful, 7 points behind or 6 points behind Brock Purdy. And I mean, he definitely could do it again. I mean, he could break 300 this year. And depending on the league that you're in and the scoring, 6 points for TDs and whatnot. But what did he have? He had 30 passing touchdowns, and then he ran a couple in as well. So I just see those numbers going up too.
Yeah, you got that, and he's gotten turnovers under control over the last couple of years. He doesn't have a high number of turnovers. He's not turning the ball over a lot, so you're not going to get those negative points that you have gotten in his last few years there with the Rams, right? Uh,
he's still kind of high with 12 interceptions, but you have to assume that the number's going to go down a little bit. They will have a bit of a balance attack. They had a balanced attack last year, but I think they got the full package. They got a stud running back. Actually, they got two good running backs, but they're going to lean more on Gibbs this year. They've already brought it up. Gibbs is the full deal. He catches, he runs, he'll power you. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to take some pressure off of Goff.
He's a top 10 guy. So in majority of your leagues, that's a starter, right? Top 10 guy, he's a starter. Unless
I
you're
mean,
for some reason you got like an 8 team league, right? But
going all the way
you're
in the ninth round, 8th or ninth round is kind of
you're
low
gonna
for him.
you're gonna get him really low, so you're
Mhm,
gonna get a lot of good value out of him.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, but you also got to consider Detroit is definitely a run team. That's the identity that Dan Campbell's built there. That Detroit grit. We're gonna sock you in the mouth, and when you're down, we're gonna kick you on our way as we run past you, stomp on your face, bite those kneecaps off. But they do like to sling that ball around a lot, though, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kinda shocked that he's so far low, but I think with him being lower, it's because of all, like, the injuries you've had in the past years, and now those players are back, like Kyler Murray, they have him Kyler above him. Some people have Caleb in front of him. I'm like, he's not you don't even know what this guy's gonna do. You already know what Goff's actually getting better. Like,
Right.
every year, he seems to be getting better, and I don't know what
It,
now
it's it's crazy
oh boy,
when
there we
you're in
go.
it, you're on a team that wants you and in an environment that is conducive to you, right? He's somewhere where they want him. They didn't want him with St. Louis,
Mm.
which I don't get. He took you to a Super Bowl, right? But then you're like, yeah, this guy sucks. And they're like, well, pump the brakes. They completely changed their identity. The first few years in the league, they were a run first team, had a solid run with Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley, the knee arthritis. They're not able to run the ball the way that they were. So, yeah, there's an adjustment period there, right? But he comes to Detroit where they want him. They're building the team, and they're excited to have him. So, yeah,
I think he actually fits kind of way you mentioned it, right? Your top tier guys, your first round picks aren't going to win your league, according to you. But with him being a round 10 or round 9, round 10 pick, he falls into your
it,
area where he could win you a league.
and it allows you to address other positions first,
Mhm.
right? You can get some backup running backs earlier and backup wide receivers earlier because you can draft your quarterback later.
Right. All right, moving on. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back. He's a PPR leagues. He's 13 overall, RB5, standard leagues, 14 overall. I mean, right now, he's right there on the cusp of being in a tier two, being in the first round. He's like I said, he's running back 5 right now. So, and he had a good year last year, but he split a lot of time with Dave Montgomery. And when Montgomery, I think, got hurt, that's when it was Jahmyr Gibbs' time.
Mhm. And you saw when Montgomery came back, they didn't completely pull the reins back on Jameer, right? They said, "Okay, this kid's ready to go." They really just wanted to take their time with the kid,
Yeah.
right? Let him get adapted to the system. Let him learn how the NFL is. Let's ease him in there. We don't have to rush him in there because we got Montgomery, right? Well, now you've got this very good two-headed horse that is just going to just beat the crap out of you for
Funny
sure. And
enough,
Gibbs PPR, right?
yeah,
He's
yeah.
gonna be a PPR machine.
So funny enough, Montgomery finished ninth and Jahmyr Gibbs finished 10th. They had two top 10 running backs, and there was 1.1 points separating them two. That's
Mhm.
how close they were. That's how even balanced. So if you start giving more work to Gibbs, yeah, he's going to shoot right up this list. I mean, the guys that were in front of him, Rashad White, he had 203. Everything else is obtainable, right? And you're talking Montgomery only played 14 games and Gibbs played 15 games. Everybody else in front of him played 17, with the exception of Kyron Williams. And Kyron Williams won you a league last year.
But that's a guy that you weren't expecting it from,
Yeah,
right?
he
And
was a
those
waiver
are
wire
the
pickup.
guys who are gonna win your league. But you gotta have these other guys in order to be there, right?
Mhm.
You gotta have your pillars of your team.
Yeah, and Montgomery had 13 touchdowns versus Gibbs with 10. I think both of them had no one receiving for Gibbs. So, but I mean, for me, it's if you think this guy is going to be the stud and you think he's going to win, it's like, yeah, you push him to the front. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be McCaffrey, even but McCaffrey's losing percentages of snaps to everybody. Like Debo Samuel, I think he only had like 63% or 65% of the snaps or carries last year. And they just really reduced McCaffrey's workload, but he's just such a
But
badass, you
all he
know.
does is score touchdowns, though,
Yeah.
right?
And
So,
he's not goal line working it either. He's running it in from the 20.
right? Yeah.
But I think this is a guy that I am very high on this year, and it will reflect in my rankings. I think he is a league winner. I think he's the guy that's going to give you the 25 plus points in PPR a week, and that's just that's a stud.
Yeah, for sure. But you've never heard someone say, "Hey, I won my league because of Justin Jefferson. I won my league because of Jamar Chase." No, because they
You
produced the
expect
way
more.
you expected them to,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
It's the guys that don't do what you expect them to do.
Exactly, and you can lose a league because your studs don't perform. I have a tough decision coming up, which will lead us into our next my keeper league. I traded for Jamar Chase super low, and I have Amon Ra St. Brown, and that's who we're going to now. Amon Ra St. Brown currently ranked PPR 6 overall, wide receiver 5, standard 6 overall.
The
He's right now
the
being
sun god
drafted.
himself.
Do what?
The sun god himself.
And I mean, right there, he's not necessarily a tier 1 guy. No one really has him as a tier 1. He's the first tier 2 guy. But I think the only reason why is because of all the other, you got Sam La Porta. You got too much talent there for one dude to funnel all the targets to.
True, but he takes up a lion's share of the targets, though,
Mhm.
right? The guy, all he does is get open. Hard fought yards, gets you the yards after the catch, gets you the touchdowns. He's tough. He's
You
not
got
going
to
to
love
miss
that
time.
guy.
He's going to work through injuries, and if he misses a game, he'll miss a game or two, right? But he's not going to miss an extended period of time. Um, with Josh Reynolds not being there anymore in Detroit, St. Brown is going to be golf security blanket,
Yeah,
right?
has to.
Um, I love St. Brown.
Yeah,
He's
he finished 3rd last season among, receivers and 211 points, 40 something behind the next guy up. That's you're talking Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb. They're on another planet. And like I said, but there's no other targets, I guess, out there for Miami. Well, there is, but y'all have Sam Laporta. Now you've got Jahmyr Gibbs coming out of the backfield, or you had him last year. But there's a lot of talent in Detroit. But yeah, 3rd overall. I don't know how far up I would take him. I don't know who. I think he's properly placed as wide receiver 5. There's just a lot of wide receiver talent across the league right now, and these studs are still around with Lamb, Hill, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson is going to take a hit this year just because you don't know how the ball's going to get to him, you know.
right.
But I mean, if I think Amon Ra will be on some teams that win some championships for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think like where you're dealing with him at, it's just a matter of preference. Which receiver do you prefer over the other ones? Um, and for me, hey, I'm a homer. Call me what you want, but I love the Sun God. Give me Amon Ross St. Brown.
I mean, it's a solid pick, you know what I mean? And like you said, the numbers don't lie. You're sitting there looking right at it. He played 16 games last year. He got you, 10 touchdowns receiving. Did he run it? No, I didn't run in the end. There was, I think, a couple that he almost ran in. I was like jumping up. Of course, I had him and I was just
Right.
going ape ass. But, yeah, where he's at, I think with him being ranked there, you can't go wrong. He's going to get the points. He's going to finish top 5. He's going to get you what he's supposed to get you.
And he's one of those guys that the Detroit finds a way to get the ball,
Mhm.
whether it's receiving, whether it's running the ball. They're going to find a way to get this guy the ball because good things happen when he gets the ball.
Yep. And then final here, we got Sam Laporta, current ranking, PPR 24 overall, standard 25 overall. He is the tight end 1. And here's something kind of funny. What round did everyone draft Travis Kelsey out of when he was tight end 1?
That's sometimes you see him going one
First
first
round.
round.
First round.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now you're talking, this guy's going to make it to the mid second or something like that. Will he ever go round 1? I don't know, but I mean, he finished last year, obviously tight end 1. He played all 17 games. He scored 153 points, outscored everybody by 15. George Kittle was next up. He scored 138. So, I mean, he put some numbers up: 10 touchdowns, 889 yards.
Now here's a guy that can win you your league because if you have one of those top tier tight ends, that's another wide receiver.
Yeah,
is what you're getting. You're not drafting a tight end, you're drafting a wide receiver. And when you're getting that type of production out of your tight end position, it's definitely going to help you out throughout the season. So a tight end is a guy who can make or break your team, can win you your league. Um, and this is a guy that again PPR formats he's going to help you out. He's going to get you touchdowns. He's going to get you yards. He's someone that golf looks to and gets a lot of action.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. You have a guy, you say you have a team and you're like, okay, my tight end gets me 5 or 6 points a week. And then you got this guy giving you 20 points a week,
Right.
double digits on the reg, sometimes in the 20s. And that's what Kelsey did. It was like, that's why everyone went ape S over Kelsey, because then you had a hand, you were already ahead of the next guy, but you do have to kind of sacrifice. You get, okay, well, what position am I going to sacrifice to get him? But then is there, someone else on your radar that you're going to pick up and that they'll plug in and be just as good as like, a normal RB1. But yeah, I mean, for me, Laporta, I know he's on your radar. I don't know if you're willing to pay the premium. And I haven't, it's been a while, I think. I don't know how long it's been since like you had this many Lions towards the top. I love Megatron. They had him on, I saw him the other day and my face just lit up. I was like, man, I love that guy. He was
Dude
so
was
fun to watch.
Oh, it's awesome. No, we have never had this many targets, this much wealth on the offensive side of the ball. It's awesome. It's been fun, being a Lions fan these last several years. It's going to continue to be fun. I'll still support them when it's not fun. I've been there through the ups and the downs. We're on an upswing right now, and last year I was telling everyone, don't be surprised if we don't win the whole freaking thing last year, and we came close, right? We get to the conference championship. And everyone told me I was a moron. Why these guys have done nothing, blah blah. It's like just we're building something, watching every game, seeing what we're doing, just seeing the guys that they're bringing in. I feel even better this year. I think defensively we're going to be a lot better. We really addressed the cornerback position. Um, got a little bit more help on the defensive line. We still got the number one rated offensive line in the league. The offense is just going to be that much better this year. Super Bowl or bust, baby. That's
Super Bowl
that's
bust.
that's what's happening. So,
Nice.
hey,
And
get yourself
normally I
a
would
few lines.
do what? What'd you say?
Get yourself a few lines because they're going to help you.
There you go. Absolutely, I agree with you. And like I said, I generally have. I hope to have St. Brown, but I think I'm going to go Jamar Chase this year because Burrow should have a bounce back here. But when we look at teams like this and they're stacked like the way they are, you start thinking of the actual stack like in DFS, and I think these guys' prices are just going to be too high to stack. I mean, you go Gibbs and Amon Ra St. Brown, and you throw in a little Laporta, your ass is going to be broke.
Keep an eye on the stack with Jamison Williams this year because, especially towards the beginning of the year, I think you're going to be able to get him pretty cheap before he really starts to blow up. But Jamison Williams is one of my guys that I'm saying keep an eye on this year. I wouldn't be surprised if you might have three players with 1,000 yards receiving or damn near close to it with Amon Ra St. Brown, with Jamison Williams, and with Sam Laporta this next year.
I mean, they're
So
throwing
keep
it. There's no doubt, and they do. Detroit still has something to prove, and Goff seems to be getting better somehow. Is he 30 yet? Is he 29 or 30?
I think he's 30,
30
29 or
something.
30. Yeah, he's right there. He's not old. You made a comment, you're like, "Oh, this dude's old as hell." I was like, "No, he's not."
He's just been around forever. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's getting better with age. I'll tell you that. Like his stats. Seriously, if you look at the last handful of years, and he is on a team, and he definitely is feeling it. He's feeling the love because he's playing so much better, and he just got that big fat contract, so it's time to step up. But usually the dudes when they get that bag, buddy, it's checkout time.
Yeah, hopefully not I'm hoping he's still playing with that chip on his shoulder, right? Um, the lines are they've come out and said, if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, this year it's a bust. They have their eyes on the prize. Last year that was their goal, but they weren't real audible with it, right? They were talking about,
Mhm.
hey, we do have the talent to compete. We do have the talent to get there. But that was their goal all along. And this year they're like, look, we're winning the Super Bowl this year. If we don't, it's a down year for us.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love the excitement. Let's freaking go. Get yourself some lines because they're going to help you out. That's all I got to say, man.
Yeah, I don't think any of them, to be honest, just real quick to kind of talk about them one more time. I don't think any of them are overpriced. I think they're appropriately priced. I think Laporta's a little bit low just because I think you're going to get a little bit more output. But you know, I don't know. It was a weird year for tight ends, and he just blew up. I mean, he's nowhere near like Kelsey scores like 200. Back when I think when he was like prime time Kelsey, he was doing 200 a year. But that's just not the case, and that might be why he's 24th, 25th overall rather than number 10.
Right.
But I think Amon Ra's right, perfect there. It's at 6. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think is a little low. I'm gonna go probably a little bit higher on Jahmyr Gibbs this year. I'm gonna go get him. He's gonna be my guy. I'll talk more about that later. And then Goff, I think some good value there at 93.
For sure. For sure. Get yourself some. And don't forget about JMO.
There you go.
That's a guy that can win it for you because he's going to go lower and he'll outproduce his draft position.
That's all you're looking for. Some value and some production.
Yep. So you got anything else today, buddy?
That's it, man. Run us out of here.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. You all Lions this year, or are we just full of crap? I don't know, man. I'm drinking the blue Kool-Aid. As always, I'm Alan.
I'm RD.
We'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.